It now being 7:03, I'm going to open the January 7th, 2021 Planning Board meeting. Happy New Year's to all. I just want to make an announcement. This meeting is being held remotely pursuant to Governor Baker's orders. I'm going to need the names and the members that are present after I make this statement. All the members that are going to that are being present remotely. All votes will be taken by roll call. I'm going to ask everybody to please be clearly audible and to try to direct all the questions through the chair so we can go through the host. Anyone that's going to be recognized to speak must provide their name. What members do I have currently?
Gordon Andrews.
Okay.
Amy Troop.
Okay.
Rick Mary.
Rick Murray. Alan Diaz. And I don't know that Mark's available, but we're going to begin the meeting. As of this moment, I will just mark Mark is absent. If he comes on, then we'll just join the meeting. We have an appointment at 7 o'clock, Outback Engineering, Matt Grosceldi. That appointment or hearing has been rescheduled. So we have no other appointments or hearings to my knowledge tonight. So we'll go directly into our discussion items. First discussion item was Bracken Engineering, and that item strictly was due to the fact that Bracken, on behalf of Scott Burgess, withdrew the subdivision modification and an extension of the site plan review. Just hold on. I believe they withdrew the subdivision and they withdrew the housing portion. I don't believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Joanne, they still is a pending extension on the site plan review?
Yeah. Yes, we
Okay.
do.
So we'll just
They
make
have-
that known,
they-
and we will reach out to Bracken to see what he wants to do with that, because there is no matter before us, so he should be withdrawing on the site plan review.
So the board needs to sign that.
I have a question. Didn't we vote to make sure that they put in a new application to make sure that it was advertised and sent certified to all the abutters?
Correct, but they withdrew their application. So, which means there's nothing now before us. So
What's the extension for then? Because if we had voted that they needed to redo the whole thing when they wanted to, then what's the extension for?
the extension is for the site plan, which I think they did in error. So we'll send them out an email indicating that the site plan is still pending, but there is no other issues in front of us. So there's really no site plan.
However, they should still have to resubmit anything, and there shouldn't be an extension given to them on this, as they need to start the process so that all the abutters are notified, certified. So I wouldn't sign an extension because that's not what we voted.
We're not signing an extension.
Well, we do site plan review.
We're gonna ask that application for the extension be withdrawn.
Okay,
Are
long
we
as
out
it's
of
withdrawn.
time? Alan, are we
Yes.
out of time on that?
I'm sorry.
Are we out of time for their application that they, in other words, if they haven't taken the application back at this time, are we out of time for that
We're
site plan?
probably out of time on the 45 days for the site plan, but there really is no project in front of us. So there's nothing for us to make a decision on as far as the site plan. I think they withdrew the other two items and just neglected to withdraw the site plan. So that's what we're going to ask them to do. And that just cleans up the paperwork. But
All I'm saying is if we have the extension there and they haven't withdrawn at this point, it might make sense to sign the extension, because we don't want somebody to say we got it by default. That's all.
Oh,
okay.
the
You know what I
caveat.
mean? 'Cause
Well,
I'm
what
not
about,
sure what the dates are.
If
Okay,
you-
I don't have a problem with that, and I'm looking at the withdrawal paperwork, which really hasn't even been signed by the board as of yet. But we've got the withdrawal, and then we have in front of us the extension. The extension is 12/3. So we still do have some time, but I'm going to agree with Gordon that I think we need to get in, at least 3 members get in, sign the extension agreement, and then we'll notify them an email and ask them to withdraw it. Does that sound reasonable?
That would be my motion.
Okay. And do I have a second on that motion? I am going to second that motion if I don't hear another motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, that's fine. All right, now we have a motion and a second on the floor. I'm going to go to a roll call vote. Amy?
I guess that's protocol. I have a question. Is that protocol that, because I'm confused about the vote and why we told them that they didn't apply correctly and now they get an extension, I would say that we could give them a denial on it.
Okay, we can't give them a denial because we don't have the issue in front of us. Basically, we're just talking about making sure that the paperwork is cleaned. Gordon's correct when he says that when we have an extension, you could in fact get a constructive grant. In this particular case, they can do whatever they want with a constructive grant, but there's no other matter in front of us. So it's just to clean up the paperwork.
Okay.
So is that a yes or a no?
I was just looking at my notes. Can you move back to me?
Sure. Gordon,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Alan, yes.
And I will abstain.
Fine. Okay, that motion carries. Joanne, let's, we need
Is
three,
that-
we need 3 signatures on this agreement.
Is that at the town hall?
She can make it available at town hall but we've got
Does
sort of,
does she have stamps?
I'm sorry, Joanne just had a note there and I missed it.
Does she have the stamps?
Yes,
Yeah,
I can
mean-
stamp that if that's what you'd like.
You could stamp my name too.
you can,
Okay.
you can stamp my name, Joanne.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can stamp mine too.
Okay,
Okay.
So are we signing a withdrawal and an extension and then a withdrawal?
No, it's an extension to give them an extension of the 45 days, which would, if the 45 days run out, they could get a constructive approval. So if we give them the extension and they ask to pull the thing out 46 days out from where it is, it still comes out and they didn't get approval. That's the only thing.
Okay.
At the same time, I would want to address the letter of the agreement for withdrawal. I'm going to be asking for the same thing, that that someone make a motion to accept the mutual agreement for withdrawal and that we use the stamps in order to process that.
Can we, do we have a copy of that? I just wanted to see it.
Yes, it's in your package. Did you pick up your written package?
Was it for the last month?
No,
Last month's meeting?
this is for this month, and what
Okay.
Joanne did, which I really like, thank you, Joanne. At the bottom of the pages, it would be page number 8.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Okay, I would make a motion to accept the letter of mutual agreement for withdrawal for 8 Hilda Lane Realty Trust dated 11/24/20. And I'm not sure who signed it, but
It looks like Donald Bracken.
okay, signed by Donald Bracken.
Okay, Gordon made the motion. I'm looking for a second.
I'll second.
Okay, Amy seconds. Is there any need for any discussion? If not, I'll move to a roll call vote. I'll start with you, Gordon.
Yes,
Amy?
Yep.
Rick?
Yes,
Alan, yes. Okay. Those two items are done with.
Are we gonna read this letter from Kerry Butler into record?
No, I think we're going to acknowledge the fact that we have those letters and they are going to be retained. And they're going to be retained in any future presentations that they make. But as of right now, we have nothing in front of us.
So
We're
this will go
aware
to
of
the file
both of those letters, and I think they should be retained.
and they'll go into the 8 Hilda Lane file.
Correct. Joanne, you can make sure that that happens.
Yes, I will.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is Autumn Lane. We did receive an inspection report. I do not believe that Mr. Triani has contacted anyone at the planning board office. So at this point, we have a report. We have a list of some of the items that need to be done. That's it, that I know of. Correct me if I'm wrong, Joanne?
Nope, that's everything. Yep.
Okay, so we're just going to have to, I guess, wait and see what the next step in the process is going to be. Mr. Triani did make these moves on his own, so hopefully we can get that subdivision, I guess, to become a public way. I would believe, though, that the Mr. Triani is going to have to turn in an as-built, and there's going to have to be some sort of a public hearing with the selectmen and then a town meeting regarding any acceptance of that.
yes.
Okay.
Well, first, we sign off after we get all that. And then the selectmen hold a hearing.
Okay. So until we have something concrete from him, we can just, Joanne, I would just keep it on the agenda as a live item.
Okay, I'll keep that on the agenda.
Okay.
So this is the item that he requested, and they went out and produced for him, correct?
Yeah, as far as I know.
Okay. Very good.
Someone else have a comment? I thought I missed something. Okay. Next item on the agenda is Pasture Lane. I do not have an update. I don't believe he's been in touch with the office. I know that the septic plan was approved, so we'll keep this on the agenda until we hear from the developer. Unless someone else has something else to shed that I'm not aware of.
I do not.
Okay, hearing none. Next item on the agenda is O'Reilly's, and basically we requested some funds from O'Reilly's, which we did receive. Armory Engineering went out. There's a report in the file. I don't know that we need to read that report. I did make some highlights if anybody in the audience is interested. There was only a few items that need to be corrected. The as-built, they're in the process of producing an as-built. I did request that the as-bills have wet stamps. I believe that those as-bills and those documents are in the Board of Health office. So Joanne, I'm going to ask you next time you're in, there's a package with my name on it to open it, but I believe that's what the as-bills are. We'll review those as-bills. I did a quick review of them. Everything looked pretty good. There's one issue with the amount of pitch from the catch basin on the street to the drainage basin in the rear. And the rather minor things that our review engineer noted. Those were all forwarded to Casey Birch. So they're in the process of being repaired, and then we'll send the review engineer out to look at that. Any questions?
What was the item that you said was in the front?
I have my notes here. There was 3 items that the review engineer picked up on. I had gone out and saw the same. There was some snowplow damage. Some of the sod was destroyed. It looked like someone had driven up on the lawn, which created some large rivets. There was a stop sign that was knocked over. It appeared to be from a snowplow. That was the cosmetic stuff out front. He made a comment on the walkway that we asked them to do the painting. The only other issue was the downspouts from the building. It appeared that there was just there was some erosion from where the downspout catches into the riprap area. There was some erosion. So what that appeared to be is they didn't either properly put in enough siltation barrier below. So that's going to be corrected, or should be corrected. One other issue on the as-built, and I don't know if anybody got a full-size copy because it's very difficult to see. The original plan showed a very minimal amount of pitch from the catch basin on Route 106 to their drainage basin. They did tie in that basin on the town's behalf because I guess it just drained into the field. I'm not 100% familiar with that. When the as-built come in, that basin or that piping was about 192 feet and it had only about 9 inches of pitch. So for those that are in the business, realize that that's not a lot of pitch. But when you're kind of working with unknowns, was the elevation at the street done properly? It appears that the basin was installed properly. We have some pitch. It's not what we like, but I don't think it's going to create any problems with flooding on 106. That's something we'll just have to keep an eye on. And those are the only issues that I saw.
What happened on that when it was approved, we couldn't be a fix for 106. We could alleviate some down through there, but we were not supposed to be picking up all of the drainage from 106 to go down there. So they were only supposed to pick up a minimum of the top of the catch basin, and that's it.
And I think that's what they did. It's just that when you're working with unknowns, I don't know where the outlet invert on that basin was, but
well, their outflow at the end was set, so they had to work within the parameters they had.
Correct. The good thing, it's not going uphill, it's going downhill, not by very much.
Right.
We will let the review engineer is aware of that, and we'll let him review it again once all the corrections are made with the other small items.
I'm just saying that when that whole thing came together, that was a fix that we worked together to take care of.
Yes.
Was
And
that with Mutual Bank?
No, that's with the street.
Okay.
Because the drainage on the street really doesn't take care of the drainage on the street. So they were alleviating some of the problem for the town by going down through there.
Correct. I think that basin, if I read the plans correctly, that basin had a direct discharge onto that property, probably without an easement.
Correct.
And
Into a dead pipe, which had no outflow.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. I remember that.
So it bubbled up rather than actually drained out.
So
So we are a plus from what we were before.
Yeah, I agree. So.
Is this the same drainage issues that affected the resident Alger?
No.
They contribute to it.
Yeah. The drainage from Alger's is that whole back field. So if Route 106 was inundated with water, it would go into that basin, go into the outfall pipe that Gordon was talking about, bubble up into the ground, and it would add to the water that was there because it was farming. So could there be an impact? Yes, under heavy rains, it just adds to the amount of water they got back there.
I think the issue that you're talking about, Amy, is more with Mutual Bank.
Okay.
That was the bigger issue with Alger's, but they did have a concern whether or not this was going to add to their problem. And I believe from the calculations that we got on this project, this is not going to be inundating the Alger's.
Okay, so this sediment and erosion problem isn't going to affect anymore, anymore.
They're maintaining all of that on their own property for this project.
Okay. Are they still gonna fix it though, just to prevent, unforeseen issues? They're gonna fix
There's
the
nothing,
downspout,
nothing to fix.
the downspout?
They've got a minimal amount of pitch. I mean, the yard's
Well,
paved.
She's
it's
talking, she's talking
landscaped.
about, she's talking about the downspout. The
Oh, the
water,
downspouts, yes. I'm waiting for some notification back from the engineering company that the corrections were made. I did go by there. I saw the site contractors were there. I did see the sign back up and it looked like the grass had been repaired, but I haven't got any official notification yet.
but that's pretty minor erosion
Correct.
compared to
Correct.
the project.
Yeah, it's very minor. Even the gutted downspouts, which is the biggest thing, it just means that they would have to take out the riprap and maybe add some additional siltation barriers so that when the water
Doesn't
hits the
silt up.
riprap, it goes into the barrier, it slows it down and doesn't allow it to run out into the basin. They're all minor. I think, they did a fairly decent job up there.
Okay, they should be trying to repair them, obviously, right?
Yeah, I think, yes, they will.
And
They'll have to repair them because we haven't signed off. So I'm sure
Okay.
they will. They've been I found them very good to work with, the engineering group. Any concerns that we've had both, more on the Board of Health side, they've always been very amenable.
Okay. The only other thing that I had a question of is, is a procedural thing. Would the ready to go out usually come to the board for a vote for the engineer to go out?
For the engineer to go out?
Yeah,
No, not unless.
You mean for an inspection?
Yeah.
Well, if they want an inspection, then they can call for the inspection. They're paying for the inspection. So when they say that they're ready, Amory can go back out to check it, yeah.
I'm
I
just
don't believe,
asking procedurally.
yeah, I don't think Amory's gonna go out without some guidance from the office. And I would make that decision through the office. But to require a board's vote, we wouldn't get anything done. So,
Just asking about procedure.
any other questions on O'Reilly's?
Were they looking for a sign off to open?
What happened was this, I spoke with the building department and the building department was going to issue them a temporary occupancy permit. And in my conversations with the engineering company, I said that I was okay with the temporary occupancy permit relative to the drainage in the building itself. We wouldn't give them on the Board of Health side any sort of temporary occupancy permit for Title V. Title V doesn't provide that. So right now they're working with a temporary. I've spoken with the surveying company. He asked what we needed on the plan, on the as-built, and I told him we needed all our elevations. We needed to make sure that the elevations were reasonably close, that the components, the siltation components were all installed the way they should be, and that I needed a certification, or the board needed a certification both from him and the PE that the drainage was constructed according to the plan and that the plan needed to have wet stamps.
Typically, the planning board would give a temporary sign off to get their occupancy and then condition it with them doing their final list of items that they have.
Okay. That seems to be standard practice, especially when you get into this weather issue. So,
Yeah.
like I say, they've been very, very, very compliant. If they hadn't been compliant, then it would have been an issue that I would have brought
But
to
it
the board.
usually goes through the board to
Correct.
get. Okay.
Anything else, Amy? All right, we're going on to our Complete Streets program. And Joanne, I hope you've got pen and paper. We've kicked this down the road a little bit, so I'm hoping that tonight that everyone has 1, 2, or 3 ideas on where this money can be used. We'll consolidate those and then get them over to the highway surveyor. So I'm gonna just ask everyone, if you've got something, fine. If you don't, then just let us know and we'll just continue on. Amy, did you come up with any ideas?
I don't want to be first. I'm not ready.
Okay, I'll start, or Gordon starts, Rick, doesn't matter to me.
I'll start. I don't care.
Okay, go ahead, Gordon.
My suggestion would be sidewalks on 58 from 106 up to the existing sidewalks in Monpont area. Along with that, to connect the other sidewalks that we have around town. In the area of South Street down towards Carver Street. And then
Okay,
I think 106 is pretty well connected until you get to 105. I don't really know that you're gonna run much up further there. And then the other project that I would have them take a look at was because Elm Street and Carver Street are the bike paths through town, is to take a look at maybe widening those out and making a bike lane.
Gordon, when you say bike lane, are you talking about a lane that's on Route 106, or is there a pathway somewhere that I'm not familiar with?
No, it comes down Elm Street, goes 106, and then it goes down Carver Street.
Now, is this a
Franklin.
lane that's on the roadway? Like,
It's those streets are bike pathways.
and designated by the
The
state or
state.
something?
Yes.
Okay. How do you think we can get that information? This is new to me, so if you could maybe share some of that with us, because there's another program that was going on, and I don't know how much of those funds are going to be available, which were particularly for bike paths, green areas, conservation areas. So if you
Yeah,
can get,
I'm not sure if those were bike paths on the roads or those were through green areas.
okay.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, if, is there anything in writing anywhere, anything that you can share with us, or it's news to me?
Well, I just know that it's designated as the bike path through town.
Okay. All right, we can work on that and see. Okay, I think you got some good ideas there. Rick, any ideas?
No, unfortunately, no. Actually, Gordon has some good ideas. I like them.
Okay.
I haven't really come up with anything. I'm not around town as much as
Okay.
everybody, so.
I had a few, I did write them down.
I guess I could add on there the sidewalk down 58 a ways there too.
Yeah. What did I do with my notes? Okay.
Going south.
What I was going to suggest is we got two problematic intersections. They would be the intersection at Pine Street and Plymouth Street. There's been a lot of crashes there. And the other intersection would be Route 36 Holmes Street and that Oak Street intersection. Some of this money could be used for maybe some increased traffic lighting, whether they be illuminated signs or something. That would be my two suggestions for any particular signage. The other issue, and I'm on the kind of the same page with Gordon, being a little more specific, if there's the potential for a sidewalk from Lingham Street up to Plymouth Street. I do see a lot of people walking in that area, and there's no sidewalk at all. And then some improvements or an extension of the sidewalk in front of Harmony Liquors to the residential center there. I don't believe there's any sidewalk from that housing. And I think the sidewalk starts somewhere around the condominiums. Those are small improvements. Sidewalks can get very expensive. So when you're trying to sidewalk from 58 to the town line, you could spend a couple $100,000. You could probably spend 50 just for for engineering. And then you've got, in that area in between the ponds, you might have to do some takings and whatnot. So those are kind of my ideas. So Joanne, I hope you're taking notes, right?
I am taking notes on that, yes.
All right. Anything else, Amy? If not, it doesn't.
Well, if you're talking sidewalks, then we should probably make sure that am I wrong to think that the sidewalk doesn't go down all the way to the second trailer park? Or am I mistaken on that?
No, there is no sidewalk that goes down there. And how I kind of looked at it is where we're getting our traffic from, pedestrian traffic.
A lot of people walk from the trailer park downtown.
There is something on the right-hand side.
Is it to the first entrance though? I'm trying to remember right now.
Isn't
I
it something?
believe it is.
Okay, just to the first entrance, right?
All right, well, just Joanne, make a note from the Halifax Park upways, up towards the intersection of Route 106.
Well, no, I know that there's that. I just mean to the second entrance. I was trying to think of how long it went to. I know that there's a sidewalk.
To the first one.
Thank you.
That's got to be intermittent sidewalks, because there's no sidewalk. If you're traveling east on 106, when you leave Cumberland Farms, I don't believe there's any sidewalks on either side
There is.
until you get to Home Street. Maybe there's something at that Home Street intersection.
No, this all the way from 58, all the way down to the first entrance of the trailer park, this is sidewalk.
Yeah,
There is.
I used to walk it, but I was trying to think of the second entrance, but that was the only thing I could think of since we talked about sidewalk.
So I think we've got some ideas. I think what Joanne can do is put them together. We'll look at them at our next meeting and then forward them. You know what?
What about that one they've already engineered at Cranberry Drive when they want to connect those two entrances too? At one time?
Well, we should take that all the way to Elm Street if that's the case.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, not Elm Street, Old Plymouth Street, sorry.
Old Plymouth.
I think you got to kind of pick your battles. I think we've got, what, $35,000 to work with? Or maybe that's just on the engineering part.
That's how much we have to spend.
Yeah, so.
Well, I mean, I think if we put the ideas out there, they can kind of take a look at what.
Correct. I think, and I'll double check with Steve Haywood. I think what he was looking for some ideas, and then at our next meeting, maybe we can
Don't all these ideas have to be engineered before we present them to them?
We need to make the presentations, and I think, and Charlie can correct me if I'm wrong, is once we get these ideas, then we'll go out to some sort of engineering process.
And we have to pay for it. Up to $38,000. We have to do engineering because of the contract. It's not a grant.
Yes, okay.
Out of the town's pocket.
Okay, so Joanne, if you can put that together, and then on our next agenda, we'll prioritize those items and get them off to Steve Haywood.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, next item on the agenda is Cled's Tree Service, non-compliance with a site plan and possible zoning enforcement action.
And I'll recuse myself.
Okay, just note it for the record at 7:37. We'd send out emails, and emails have been going back and forth regarding Cled's Tree. There was a fire out there. I visited the site on a couple occasions. Was approximately 5,000 yards of wood chips. From what I understand, he's made a very good dent in getting rid of that stuff. But through research, we found that the site itself is nowhere in compliance. We've got planning board issues, we've got board of health issues, and we got fire department issues. And reviewing the file, last July, the prior board issued a site plan to be reviewed last July. That didn't happen. So we're going to need some guidance from the board as to what sort of action we're going to take to get the site into compliance.
I was on the board when we approved a site plan last year.
Correct, and it was extended.
No, we signed it.
with a I don't have it in front of me. They should have come back in last July.
They have a site plan that was approved. I just pulled the file the other day. It was in the building inspector's office, not in our planning files, but I went and I looked through the file, and I can share a screen with you of the approvals from 2018, and also last year. I was actually on the board when it occurred.
Okay, do you want to share those?
I'd love to. It'll take me a minute, so if you want to talk for a few minutes about what you have to say, that would be great.
No, we need to kind of figure out where we're gonna go. We have a situation where we've got electricity there. We've got an office trailer that's unpermitted. We have employees, we have no toilet facilities, and it just goes on and on. So at this point, we're gonna have to figure out how to bring it into compliance. I mean, the other businesses in town comply with site plans, and this particular site has no compliance that I see. I don't know if Rick, you're the only one here. Have you looked at the site at all?
I've driven by, yeah.
Okay.
Like I said before, it just looks like he's outgrown the lot by the looks of it.
I have to figure out how to get it to my computer so I can share it.
Okay.
It was scanned into my phone.
Was it a plan that was stamped by Bracken Engineering and it had sketch? Is that the plan that had a sketch of log piles, or?
No.
There was another one that had some rectangular areas that were for, I believe, logs.
That was in the file too, but we have a site plan here. Just give me a second. You didn't look at the file?
I've looked at building department file. I looked at the Board of Health file.
Did you look at the planning board file?
No, I did not. I'm sorry. I did. It was
Oh, but
very,
it was in
very
the-
thick. It was very thick, and I found that the plans, I didn't read the contents and the hearings and stuff, but the plans were similar to those plans that were in the building department and the Board of Health. And I don't know how to get it. I think I have. One of those plans. I'm not telephone savvy, so. I think I did submit, Joanne, didn't I submit in an email form a couple of plans that I got out of, I think maybe it was the building department and the Board of Health? Did I share that email with you?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Joanne, you would have no way of pulling that up, right? I don't even know on the email.
I'm almost there.
Okay.
It just takes me a minute.
I'm gonna send you 2 plans that I have in the file. Hold on a second. I think that if you look in your email number 4, they should be in there that I sent you today.
Okay, here we go. Okay, she's got one on there. Obviously, can't really tell what this is. That's not one of the plans. Oh, that's, yeah, that is part of the package, and that's the landscaping plan. Do you have another one, Amy? And just want to point out that that landscaping plan, there has been no structures or anything built, so you can't really expect it to be a landscaping plan, but that's not in the compliance either. But you wouldn't
Well,
expect it.
Ever since this has been completed and they've been moving forward, I believe it's been COVID. And I think that there's a,
Okay. Do you have another plan? This the only one you have?
no, it's not the only one I have. Hold on. I have the file, but I just have to transfer it into the computer, which I have not done yet. So that's why it's taken me time.
So, Joanne, is there any way that you can show that plan? You can share it?
I attached them to the chat. They're in the chat.
Oh, boy.
Are you at the town hall?
Pardon me?
I was talking to Joanne. I'm like, is she at the town hall?
No, I'm home.
Sharon, I don't know how to get in the chat, so. How do we get in the chat? The last time I hit a button, I disconnected, so do I go to that one?
Yep, you going in.
Oh, here we are. Okay. Rick, can you go in the chat?
I'm in there. I'm just trying to get it saved to my computer so I can open it.
Okay,
I got a lousy internet connection.
okay. Joanne, I am into chat.
Yeah, but it's also in your email too, that I sent you today.
Oh, well, that would have been easier. I'll just do that. Okay. Thanks, Joanne.
So that plan is an email. Let me go to the telephone for that.
Yeah, I don't, maybe you didn't hear me. I said it was email number 4, I believe.
Email number 4. Here we
That's
go.
past
Now,
Julian.
4 is
Past Julian.
okay, let me just see. I think 4 is a picture of the pipe
It is.
at O'Reilly's. I don't see any more there. Let me see. Meeting minutes is 5. 4A Walnut Street. I don't see it here. Agenda.
I'll resend that right now.
Okay.
Do you have all of our files electronically, Joanne?
Yeah,
You do?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, she
Did
sent it. So.
I mean,
I
like to have them like quick like that?
The two that are in the chat, I'm sending to you by email right now to the whole planning board.
Okay, so this is. No, let me get rid of that.
Sure.
While we're waiting, what did you see on the plan? You said that you were on the board when they, so that was a landscaping plan. Do you remember what was on the other?
Yeah, there was
plan?
a full, like, you know, all of them, but I have to upload that file into my computer and
I got mine. I got this one here, so. Okay, I have one here. You want to refer to Joanne's plan?
2000 2005 is the site plan, and then 2018, it looks like a picture.
Okay, I
Did you
got,
get those?
I got the thing that looks like a picture. Oh, wait a minute, here's the other attachment over here.
There's 2 attachments.
Okay, yes. If you go to the second attachment,
Yep, I see it.
okay, is this what you saw?
I saw, this is one of the ones I saw.
Okay. And so your question is,
I don't have a question. I'm saying that there was site plans that were agreed upon in our
okay,
files.
so have you been to the site in the last month?
I just drove by it the other day in preparation for this meeting.
Okay, did you see, let me stop for 1 second. This plan, even though the first page is a site plan, the second one is also it looks like the soil logs for, oh, these are an existing conditions plan along with soil logs. And then item number 3 is going to be I can read it. Grading utilities plan.
Mhm.
And item number 4 or 5 would be the septic system plan.
Okay, well, we're not the Board of Health, so we don't need to look at
Right.
that right now.
Okay, so based on these plans, and I can't read the dates because they're so small, there's been nothing done
Zoom.
that's to any of to these particular plans, none of this has been done,
Okay.
all right?
In 2005, roads were agreed upon and that wasn't done. So what's the point?
2005 what?
And there's other places in town that in 2005, roads were told to us that they were agreed, they were signed, and they weren't done.
Okay, I don't know how that has any relevance on here.
It's the same
So
thing.
so the issue here is, and let's kind of look at that second plan. The first attachment, if you don't mind, while we got it up.
Got it.
The first attachment looks like a photograph. And it's a photograph of Cled's trees. And it's got a bunch of rectangular boxes on it.
Yep.
Rectangular. Did you see that? Rick, can you see that?
I'm not seeing anything right now. I'm having trouble with my internet.
I'll share screen it, Rick. Hold on.
Okay, yeah, that might be the easiest thing to do.
Okay, you're seeing the one with all the rectangles on it?
Yeah, you see it now? Okay.
The first one?
I don't have you on shared screen, but I don't know why.
I didn't put it on because he said,
Okay. All right,
sorry.
I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. I said I was going to do it and then he came up with it. Do you want me to still share screen it?
You can share screen it because we do have other people that are listening and they should have some idea as to what kind of we're talking about.
Yep.
Because she did in fact send it on emails and they weren't privy to that. Okay, yeah, that plan is in the file. So you were out there today.
Not today, the other day. Yeah.
But the other day, did you see any of this?
Well, there was log storage to the left. There was mulch out in the back and they were working it.
Okay, oh, let me just, there is no legend on this particular plan, but let me just point out that this plan is a forgery. The
How do
engineer,
you say that?
excuse me?
Why do you say that?
I verified with the engineer, I provided him a copy with this plan, and I provided him a copy with another plan, which that email went to the office, I believe.
Which engineer?
And those plans with his stamp are fraudulent. He did not stamp those plans. So
Who's the engineer?
Bracken. So whoever drew these items on the plan, okay, did it without his knowledge nor consent. and his stamp is on the plan.
I don't see a stamp on this.
Well, there isn't one on this one, but I can tell you that in the research and the ones that I have, that there is plans that bear.
Can you share that with us? 'Cause I'd
Let
like
me
to
just
see
finish.
that.
They bear a surveyor stamp and a PE stamp, and they're fraudulent.
Huh. I'd like to see that if you have that.
I do. I don't know how to get it to you now. So we need to
Leave it in
develop,
my
we
planning
need to
board
come up with
mailbox?
some course of action. We require that all the businesses comply to the site plan. You said you were proud of that site plan process before.
I am.
The last site plan that I saw,
What are you saying to me?
I had some indication that it should have been reviewed, I believe, last July. Correct me if I'm wrong, Joanne. Do you recall that? If not, we can get the information. None of that's been done. There's no septic system, the existing log storage, there's no building, there's nothing. So.
I don't see a septic system on this plan.
That wouldn't be, it's because it's not a septic plan. The other plan, remember you said that was a septic plan, and it's not, that's the septic plan. This appears to be.
We're looking at this though, so you're talking about a septic plan and it's not here, so I'm trying to figure out where you're going with this, because then you're talking about another plan that you don't have to share with us that's fraudulent, so I'm trying to figure out which plan you're talking about, because this plan here that you're talking about, a septic plan.
I'm not talking about, you're talking about a septic plan. This plan was filed to the planning board fraudulently. That's what I'm telling you.
When was that? How long ago?
I don't have the dates, but like I say, the plan that was submitted that the board made the decision on back in 2019 was a fraudulent plan. And then the record went back, it went from 2005, and then there wasn't a lot. And then maybe it was 2018 that Amy, you were on the board and you made some sort of decision.
I wasn't on in 2018.
Whatever time you were, there was two plans. There was two sets of decisions, if my memory is correct. And those, whatever decisions were made with fraudulent plans.
That's a big thing to say to somebody right now without any backup.
I have backup.
Let's
You don't
see.
make this
I
lightly.
think that this would be more of a court case, but I also would say that
I don't
the
think.
fire department's involved in this and gave them 90 days to be in compliance. So I think that we should take it up after that time period.
Okay, I don't agree. I think that we need to, if we're gonna make the rest of the businesses in town comply with the site plan, then I think everybody should comply with the site plan. But this is the board's decision. So what I'm gonna be looking for is.
I don't have
whether or
anything to
not-
make a decision because you're making a very big accusation without any proof at all. Well, you're not sharing it with us. I'm not a lawyer, so you're telling me somebody said something without showing me something.
Okay.
That's very, very vigorous.
All I can tell you is that I did the research. I contacted the engineering.
Why did you do this?
He verified that it was not his plan. The next course of action, which I am not going to take, and I was advised that I should report that to the Board of Professional Licensure. I don't think that's appropriate for me to do. I think that's up to Bracken to deal with that. The only issue that we have now is, do we want to let him continue doing whatever he wants to do, or do we want him to come into compliance with a site plan? That's the issue.
Well, number one, I think that the fire department is handling this at this current time. There's a letter from Jason Viveros clearly stating what he said. It would be a 90-day compliance. So I think that we should take it up after that. As far as what Bracken needs to do on your accusation, I believe that's up to Bracken. And if that does come to fruition, then I believe that we should look at it as far as something that we should do.
Okay.
But at this current time, I think that the fire department is handling the NFPA issues And that's where we're at.
Okay. Rick, do
We
you
don't
agree?
have an FPA, and if you're gonna I wouldn't stand for this for anyone in town, for you to sit here and say a lot of allegations about somebody fraudulently doing anything without a document in your hand. I think that's actually against the law to do as well.
Okay.
You
You-
should
you-
not
you-
be accusing somebody of
you-
something like that without a document in your hand stating that. That's very vigorous of you.
You will make that part of the meeting minutes, and I'm just going to tell you that I do have the backup. So,
Well, you should have shared it with us
Well,
in document form, not hearsay. Because you're right now slandering a company in our town by stating these things. And that is against the law.
okay.
So I would probably say that we should shut this part of the conversation, because I am very fired up that you would say anything without proof about anybody in this town
You're not listening.
or anywhere for that matter. No,
Yeah,
I am listening. You
Okay.
have no
We-
documentation. You're saying a bunch of hearsay.
Okay.
That's insane.
Okay. Are you finished?
Are you? Because I recommend that we move out of this conversation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rick, we have 3 members on the board. So I'm going to be looking for
Wow.
your either guidance or
isn't
we
your
can
nephew
continue
next
this until we
door?
get,
Hmm,
Amy,
that's
hold on.
interesting.
Amy, you had your say. Now it's somebody else's time. I'm asking Rick a question. Is if Rick is ready to try to move or to make a decision on this, or if he wants to kick it over, I'll entertain whatever motion that there is. Your point has been taken. So Rick, at this point, do you feel as though you want to move on it? Do you need a little more information? What's your pleasure?
I am flabbergasted.
Rick, did I lose you? Uh-oh. Charlie, did we
I don't
lose?
believe we have a quorum to talk about this any longer, as Gordon is recused and we have a 2-person board right now. I think that we should move on to the next agenda item.
Okay, Charlie, can you check with,
Charlie's not on the board, so
could you check and see if we lost Rick?
Yeah, you have. He's not on the list right now.
He's not with us.
I
nope.
don't see him.
Okay, can we,
Watch the waiting room to see if it comes back.
We don't have a quorum to talk about this. Let's move on to the next discussion item.
okay, we're gonna give it a minute and see if Rick comes back.
We can bring it back up if he comes back.
Any sign of Rick?
Joey, do you have a mobile phone number for Rick? You might reach out to him or text him.
I don't have the ability to
Oh, I'm
text.
asking
Okay.
Joanne.
So then let's move on to the next agenda item. We can return to this if he comes back. Thank you.
Okay, Sharon, can I have my other phone? Charlie, we'll hold off and see if we can get him back.
Okay.
And we'll move on to 241 Franklin Street. An as-built and site plan comparison. Joanne, this kind of escapes me. We did get a as-built for this project, didn't we?
Alan, time
Yes,
to move
yes.
on. We do not have a quorum to talk about this. And I am making a motion well, we can't even make a motion because there is
Amy,
no
why don't you
quorum.
pay attention? We've moved on.
I am
to the
paying
next i-
attention.
We moved on to the next item. Gordon should be back with us. Gordon, you back with us?
He's there on the screen.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm back now.
Okay, fine. Good. We've gone back to we're gonna hold that until Rick comes back on 241 Franklin Street.
Site plan?
I believe an as-built was submitted. I'm a little foggy on this. Joanne,
Yes,
was the
it was.
full-size as-built submitted?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And has that been, we haven't reviewed that as a board. Gordon, Amy, anybody look at that as-built?
I don't remember the full-size plan. I remember them bringing in partial size.
Yeah, that's what I remember. And I remember that they were gonna bring one in,
Correct.
but maybe with the snowstorm and whatever else is going on with the COVID, I don't know that they did. Joanne, can you bail us out on this one? Do they have a full-size plan available for us to review?
I'm looking for it right now.
Okay,
Hold on just a sec.
not a PDF.
I only have a PDF right now. I'm not in the office.
Oh, it's okay. All right, just put this on the next agenda and just send a note to Sharif, whatever his name is, that we're still looking for a full-size as-built. And I believe he was working with the building department on some issues there, right? But if you can get that email out to them.
Gordon, just so you know, Rick Mary's back.
Yeah, I made it back.
You made it back.
You lost me. I don't know. There's something going on my internet here. I left.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna go back to Cled's Tree while Rick is here. Rick, I don't know.
Wait a minute. Oh, so what are we gonna do with what we're on?
Oh, I think we're gonna have Joanne send a letter requesting the full-size as-built.
For the next,
I will
For the
do
next
that,
meeting.
but the PDF is in the chat.
Yeah, the PDF really doesn't help us.
no.
That doesn't help us.
It's
We
too
need,
small.
and
So
we also need to make sure that
The
that
full-size,
the building inspector is okay with, I know there was some issues there with the bridge and all that other stuff and conservation.
yeah, well, the full-size plan is in the office, so you can see it there.
It is. Now, question, how many are there? Full-size plans?
I'm not sure how many there are, but you mean you wanted one for everybody or just going in to see it?
It's kind of difficult to go there to spend 15 or 20 minutes. I would prefer to pick one up and I could do it at my leisure. I think Gordon, you would probably agree.
But we
Yeah.
get the full size
Yeah, I
electronic.
believe there's only one for the planning board.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
What are
can
we
go in and
talking
just
about?
compare
Franklin
it.
Street?
I'm
yeah.
Can we
sorry.
have it scanned electronically to us from the engineer?
Okay, hold on. Get everybody talking. Rick, you had mentioned. was
Well, I
that-
don't know. I'm come back in the middle of the conversation. What are we talking about? Franklin Street?
Yes, we are. We moved on to 241 Franklin Street, as
Yeah.
built and site plan comparison.
Okay.
And there's a question, we think that there's one as-built in the office.
Can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
As it's a comparison thing, if we have one copy in there and we go in there and compare it to what's there, it's probably the easiest rather than try to take it out of the office.
Yeah.
So just go in and spend a little bit of time and compare them right there.
And make notes.
Before,
Only because if you take it out, then you'd end up having to take out the old plan too, to compare it to.
okay, before we make a final decision on this one, we'll go to the next item because we've got some problems with town hall and staff looking at files, how much time we've got.
That was not on our
Spend
agenda
in
when it was
there.
posted.
So we're gonna put this on hold for a second. But what I'd like to do is get down to the next item on our agenda and then we'll go back to Cled's Tree.
Yeah, and I'm gonna make a motion that this was, I'm gonna talk about the fact that, when this was posted, it was not on our agenda. It came to us at 9:36 this morning. It was not on our agenda on Tuesday.
What are you talking about?
This last item was not posted for the public to know. It was not on our agenda on
Which-
Tuesday.
Which
is
item are you talking about?
Wait. Planning board document request policy.
Okay. Joanne, is there any credence to that? I know
No,
that
It was posted on Tuesday for the public and it was on there on Tuesday.
okay, so,
No, it wasn't. I have a copy of it and it was not.
okay, so Joanne, you're saying that it was on the agenda?
The one that she sent us that said we need any other agenda items given.
We need
to
the
us
one that was
by 2
posted with
o'clock.
the.
Did
one that was
not have it
posted
on
with the
there.
Town clerk.
Well,
Okay.
the town clerk posted it on Tuesday. You can look at it on Tuesday. I mean, it was posted on Tuesday. It's still there.
It wasn't given to us until Thursday with it on there
Okay,
at 9:36 this morning.
okay, so for the record, it's duly noted, you can verify it with the town clerk. If we made a mistake, then we'll correct it. The next two items on the agenda is that document requests and a procedure to review files, and then we'll discuss this, and then we'll go back to 241 Franklin Street. Because of a lot of it's part with COVID, it's part of staffing at town hall, that this board or the selectmen need to come up with some sort of policy or procedure that's going to allow people to go into the office to review certain information and files. I don't know if the board itself has any ideas, but we've got limited staff to walk in and request the information. It's not going to happen.
We don't need to request the information. All we need to do is go in and pull our planning board files.
Okay, so we're not.
It's our legal
We're
duty.
not, it's not,
Elected officials.
it's not our responsibility, or, I would not ever go into the file cabinet and pull out a file.
Really,
So-
you're an elected official. That's what your job is.
Okay, that's not my
Do
job.
the selectmen ask for one?
That's not my,
Is there,
Amy,
no, this is seriously
Listen.
a point. This is an American thing that we need to hold on to. This is not okay.
Alan,
Don't COVID it.
Alan,
Does the building inspector have a log of what files he looks at all day long, every day? Does
Okay.
he request it?
go ahead,
No,
just
he
sit down,
goes in
let
and
her
he
go over.
works.
Okay, so are you finished?
No, because
Okay,
this is
Go
gonna
ahead.
be,
Well, go ahead, and then Gordon's gonna
does the
comment.
town clerk have every single thing that she goes into every day, an agenda of what she actually has to ask for? No. Does Charlie? No. So what are you putting restrictions on the planning board for?
Okay, you done? Gordon had a question. Gordon?
no, I have a comment to make. We
Okay,
are the
good.
planning board. Those files are our files. We
Correct.
have the right to go in there and go through our files. That's our job as planning board members. We are in charge of all of that information. And as far as, at one point, we didn't have a secretary. That's how it works. And there's been times in the last year and a half, we haven't had a secretary. The planning board files belong to the planning board. We go in, we get what we need. You sit down, you look at it, you put the file back, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Rick?
you're talking strictly planning board files. So you're
That's
talking just planning board.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Rick, you got any suggestions?
As far as looking in the planning board's files, is that what you're saying?
Correct. The issue that arose was that, that I guess someone looked at the files or was gonna look at the files, I'm not 100% sure, and that the problem is that we're now, with the town hall being short-staffed, that created a problem. I don't know that whether you're elected or however you're gonna be, that you should be able to go and look at a file anytime that you want.
Well, I mean,
Only my opinion. So.
I don't know. In my opinion, the planning board files, yeah, but you can't go in there and look at other files that aren't the planning board. That would be wrong, I think.
Right. Right.
Correct.
I agree.
I think this, Gordon, I agree, it's the planning board's files, okay?
I'll make a motion to vote that this is not going
Hold
forward.
it, let me finish, and I'm
No.
not going to accept your motion. Gordon, I agree that these files should be made available to us during some normal or reasonable hours.
You mean town hall open or hours when we go in,
So. I
when we have
think-
time?
I think what I'd like to do, Amy, will you stop talking over me?
You're being ridiculous.
I'm not being ridiculous. Why don't you
Yeah,
listen for a minute instead of talking? Okay? I personally think this is an issue that the selectmen should handle. And the reason being is, I don't think it's the planning board's responsibility to determine when these files are going to be available. I think they should be available at a reasonable time.
You mean when the town hall is
Can
open?
I finish?
No.
At a reasonable time. So what I'm going to ask the board to do is refer this to the selectmen to see if they want to,
Absolutely
during
not.
these times, if they want to give
Why?
us some guidance or come up with some sort of a policy that these files can be inspected or reviewed during reasonable times.
Alan,
Yeah,
I speak now?
sure, go ahead.
Okay, the selectmen do not have power over the planning board. We are the planning board. We are elected by the people to be the planning board. The files belong to the planning board. Nobody oversees the planning board. The people elect us. The town hall is open. We have a right to go into the town hall and look at those records. It's not up to the selectmen. It's not up to Charlie. It's not up to anybody else. We are the planning board. Nobody else goes to the selectmen to see if they can have their files. The Board of Health doesn't go to the selectmen and ask if they can see their files. The assessors don't go to the selectmen and ask if they can see their files. This thing has gone, I don't know where this is coming from, that all of a sudden that we somehow come under somebody else. We don't. Maybe you were elected chairman to the board a little premature because you don't understand how things work.
Okay. I'm going to say that I agree with most of what you said, but I believe that the building is under the jurisdiction of the town hall. So if you've got reasonable hours, then it should be made available to us. Now.
Well, I don't
the
understand what
question
you
is-
mean by
let me just-
reasonable hours. The town hall is open at a certain time. I'm not asking to go in there at midnight or some other time. I'm saying that when the town hall is open, we can go in. I'm not asking for anything to be open special or anything else.
Right.
They're open during the week.
Okay, what's the board's pleasure?
Deny, motion to deny.
So is
I don't
this,
think there's any
is this,
motion.
does this, a lot of this confusion have to do with like, for instance, Joanne can't be in there? I mean, if it would be any difference, if Joanne was in the office and you need a file, she helps you find it and make sure it's put back in the right place and all that. And I
Correct.
mean, so this situation without Joanne on board in the office is creating a whole different scenario. So it just seems, if you had a little guy, you know, maybe they're just thinking a little guidance when you go in there and make stuff put back to where it came from and have help to find it. I don't know the answer to that, whether.
We don't need help to find it. There's
think-
file cabinets that belong to us.
Amy, please, bring your
I
comment.
was answering Rick.
Yeah. So, Rick, I agree, and I think we've got some trying times, and the help is part of the problem that we don't have someone in there.
We don't.
I don't have a clue where the files are in the office, so I would not go in the office and pull anything out.
I can show you
I would
next
ask for some assistance.
when the town
Charlie,
hall is
can you
open.
mute
next
her,
week, I'll
please?
show you where our files are.
Charlie?
You should know as the
Can
chairperson.
you mute her for the time being?
Excuse me? I'm a member of this board. I have absolutely
Well,
every right. to speak.
You're not following protocol. When you
What
have,
protocol?
oh, listen, when you, let me just say this, okay?
I'll show you.
Everybody
where
has
they
the
are.
opportunity to speak. You're not trying to, you're speaking over people, you're interrupting people, all right?
You're
What you need
trying
to
to
do
take
is
away
wait
our
your turn.
American right.
Charlie, can you mute her?
Are you kidding me?
Okay, well, look, if you're gonna be disruptive, then we'll stop the meeting.
You know,
Yes, I am serious.
Oh,
All right.
I'm not caring if you're serious.
Okay.
A motion
No.
to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. We're going to do a roll call vote. The motion is to adjourn.
Gordon, yes.
Gordon, yes. Amy?
Yes.
Meeting just froze up.
They won't let Gordon on.
And yeah,
Hello?
Let's see.
I lost everything. Okay, I got it back.
Losing people here.
John, if we having other technical difficulties?
We lost you for a minute and we lost Gordon for a minute. Gordon's back on one
Okay.
line or another and you're back.
Okay. Based on the guidance we have on the open meeting law, I'm going to ask that the meeting be adjourned. If we're having technical difficulties and it appears that we are, we have motions and we can't hear anybody, I'm going to ask that the meeting be terminated.
So you're thirding it. Okay.
I'm not thirding anything. So I just want to make sure that's part of the guidance from the governor. At least in the guidance that I've read, if we are experiencing technical difficulties, then
I'll second your motion to adjourn. Roll call?
hold on. Yeah, item number 3. What I'm going to look for right now is this. I want to see who we have participating where we're getting technical difficulties.
Oh.
So, and just Joanne, note this. Gordon, are you on? Gordon, you're not on. Rick, are you on?
I think so, yeah. I'm good.
Okay. Amy, are you on?
Right here?
Okay. I'm looking for a motion to adjourn based on the technical difficulties. Anybody want to make the motion? Hearing none? Charlie,
Yeah. Hi.
where we can't hear, we don't know who's on.
Oh, I
All
don't
right,
think-
I don't know that I need a
Fine
motion
now.
anyways.
Alan, you have several people who are on, just everybody's decided not to say anything.
Is that what it is?
You're here, Rick's here, Amy's here, Gordon, there's a box for him. I don't know why, he hasn't answered, but it's people not saying anything that's causing silence.
All right, so we're looking for a motion to adjourn this meeting. Just for technical or that's it?
That's it.
Well, I can see that because I keep going in and out.
Okay. Are you going to make that motion, Rick?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Do I have a second? I will second that motion. I'm going to go to a roll call vote. Rick,
Yes?
Amy,
Abstain.
Alan, yes. The meeting is adjourned.
Have a great night.